The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
Close your eyes and pull like a dog.
And a new Irish record for Phil Healy, 22.99.
Christy Cooney hands over the Sam Maguire Cup to Graham Canty, Cork All-Ireland champions for the 7th time ever.
Hello and welcome back to the Star Sport podcast. Now this weekend, John Cleary's Cork footballers get their National Football League Division 2 campaign underway away to Donegal in Ballybofey. Our guest this week is former Cork footballer and selector John Hayes, who joins us to preview the game and Cork's chances in this year's competition. We'll be hearing from John a little later on, but first, the Star Sport podcast is brought to you in association with our friends at Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, where your bank really does matter. Choose credit union, choose local, choose community. Now, I'm your host, Dylan Mangan, and I'm joined as always by Star Sport editor Kieran McCarthy. And Kieran, before we get into the chat with John, we've a big event to look forward to this weekend. It's this rather small matter of the West Cork Sports Star Awards are taking place on Saturday in the Celtic Ross Hotel. All of us at the Star can't wait for it, and I'll be honest, I don't envy your job as one of the judges trying to pick a winner of the overall West Cork Sports Star of the year.
Yeah, Dylan, it's always one of the biggest nights in West Cork sport, if not the biggest night in West Cork sport every year. It's where the heroes of the year all congregate together under the one roof, and we crown the sports star of the year. So in the past few weeks, we've announced the winners of the various other awards through the Southern Star. So every Thursday morning, we were bestowing good news to various teams and clubs across West Cork. So for a start, O'Donovan Rossa ladies football team will be named, or will accept their Team of the Year award for 2023. Castlehaven GA Club have been named Club of the Year. Newcestown GA Club, off the back of their doubles, are the Special Achievement Award winners. And young Drina teenager Emma Hurley is going to pick up the Paddy Palmer Youth Award. Emma was, I think her achievement was fantastic last year. She was the first ever local girl picked on the West Cork Kennedy Cup team that finished the best ever third place, and then she went on to win an All-Ireland under 16 girls road bowling title as well. So she's a dual star with a difference. So that's 4 of the awards just there. In Thursday's Southern Star, we're going to announce the Hall of Fame award winner, and we have a long read about this winner too. So that's well worth checking out for the identity of a person I hold in very high regard locally here in West Cork. That the work that they've done goes far beyond their sport, and a very deserving entrant to the West Cork Sports Star Hall of Fame. And then on Saturday night, in front of a sellout crowd, we're going to crown the 2023 West Cork Sports Star of the Year. So if you could bear with me for a second, Dylan, I'm just going to list out the people who are in the running. I'm going to go through this very, very quickly. So we've Brian Hayes, the jockey, Ireland and Munster rugby player Jack Crowley, Trina Motorsport co-driver Dennis O'Donovan, Newcestown athlete Jane Buckley, Munster rugby star John Hodnett, who scored the winning try in the URC final last year, Randall Oakes, Sean Daly, who's won a Munster and Cork, won Munster and All-Ireland under 20 hurling titles last year, hammer thrower Nicola Tuttle, the Irish senior women's champion, St. Oliver Plunkett's Jewel County Junior B winner Eddie O'Driscoll, Fiona Keating, who won an All-Ireland Senior Camogie title in 2023, David O'Sullivan, who captained the Berry Road Junior footballers to their first ever Carbery GAFC title, Mark Collins, who captained Castlehaven to County and Munster senior football titles, Ty Toomey, the Newcestown legend, who was a key man as they won both County Senior A football and hurling crowns last year. Then we've Lisa Hart, who captained O'Donovan Rossa to County, Munster and All-Ireland titles. Fiona Everard, who is the Irish Senior Women's Cross Country Champion. And then there's Gavin Sheehan, who had an incredible finish to the year. He rode his 700 winner in November, and then he won 3 Grade 1 races in December. So you've 15 top high caliber West Cork athletes there. One of them will be crowned the best in the West. Who will it be? Check out the Star social media channels late on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's the first thing that kind of jumps out at me as you're reading down through that list there is the variety of different sports that are represented. It's something we talk about a lot on the podcast, and you write about a lot in the pages of the Southern Star as well. But the fact there is such a wide variety of different sports and different sports people there is incredible, isn't it?
It is. Like, you can see now I'm sporting a brand new haircut. This is my haircut for the award. So I got my haircut here in Skib during lunch, and I was chatting to the hairdresser, and he was asking about the awards coming up on Saturday night, and I was just making that point to him. I said the variety of sports people in West Cork is off the charts, and we're almost like a broken record at this stage highlighting this, but we're dead right to highlight it too, Dylan, because there's not a region like this in the country where you have so many talented sports people across so many different sports. GAA is king in West Cork, and 2023 was a year where the Empire struck back with the O'Donovan Rossa ladies, Newcestown, Castlehaven, all winning the really big prizes. St Albert Plunkett's with a County Junior B double. But then look at the rugby contingent. You've your Jack Crowley's, John Hodnett's, Gavin Coombs, Fionn Wycherley, Josh Wycherley, Abby Salter Towns, and Gillian Coombs, Inya Breen, and all these incredible rugby players flying that flag. Look at athletics at the moment. Like the likes of Darragh McElhinney and Phil Healy didn't even make the cut in 2023. You have the likes of Jane Buckley and Nicola Tuttle and so on. And then you're talking road bowling, motorsports, soccer, like you name it, West Cork has it. So it really is a golden era for West Cork sport. And I think my advice is just enjoy it and embrace it. And just to highlight, Dylan, how good last year was that the reigning West Cork Sports Star champions, Paul O'Donovan and Fintan McCarthy, didn't even make the cut this year. So they know what they have to do. They have to put their head down this year, forget about the Olympics. Their target has to be to get back to the awards night in 2020, early 2025. And I'm sure that's going to be their target. But it just highlights the strength of West Cork sport at the moment. So long may that last.
Yeah, I remember after Fintan and Paul O'Donovan lost a race last year, Fintan put up an Instagram post saying the fire has been lit. And I think if he listens to the podcast now, we might be seeing another Instagram post from him ahead of this year. Obviously a big year for them, but it's a big year for lots of athletes. You mentioned athletics there, obviously the Olympics this year, and maybe looking forward to the West Cork Sports Star Awards of next year already. We've had some kind of incredible feats. We have David Hart on the front page of the paper this week. He's going to be a two-time Olympian, and the Olympics will be a big draw in the coming year as well. But back to this year, the guest speaker on Saturday is kind of fitting, I guess, given the fact that rugby kind of had such a rise in West Cork this year. It'll be Donal Lenihan is the guest speaker this year, and we're looking forward to hearing from him as well.
100%. He's the voice of rugby in Ireland on TV for the last number of years. Former Munster legend, an Irish legend. Played in Ireland for over 10 years, won a couple of triple crowns. Played at Munster for well over a decade. Then he managed, and he was involved with the Ireland teams and with the British Lions as well. So he's quite an authoritative figure when it comes to rugby, and it's very fitting that we have Donal Lenihan as our guest speaker on Saturday night, given, like I said, the West Cork rugby boom in the last couple of years. And we saw it again last week when Jack Crowley was named on the Irish team for the Six Nations, and he's likely to be the starting number 10 when that tournament kicks off on Friday week. But I also mentioned the likes of Gavin Coombs, his cousin Liam Coombs, the Wycherleys, John Hodnett, you've Cian Hurley in Clonakilty, you have a young fella Dylan Hicks from out from Bantries in the Munster Rugby Academy. So I just feel it's fitting, given, like I said, where rugby is in the pecking order in West Cork at the moment. I'm looking forward to listening to Donal Lenihan. Whenever you listen to him on TV, like, he's quite an astute rugby brain. So I think he's following in some very good, very well established footsteps in recent years. We had Brian Cody as the guest speaker last year, the Kilkenny legend, and he was superb. And I think Donal Lenihan will be of the same ilk. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's one of the many highlights of the night. So anyone who has attended the awards knows it's just a celebration of West Cork sport. There's such a good buzz in the room because it's about positivity. It's about the best in the West. It's about celebrating the feats and heroics of our athletes in the past year or so. And you've such a great mix of different sports people coming from different backgrounds. And it always, for me, that always stands out in the night. I think back to a couple of years ago, when Phil Healy and Paul O'Donovan met for the first time, and that was through the West Cork Sports Awards gala ceremony. Like Phil Healy's been one of our top athletes, or probably our greatest ever athlete, and then you have Paul O'Donovan, who was on course to become a 3-medal Olympian, like the medal to touch wood in 3 Olympic Games, and they first met and they were chatting at a West Cork Sports Star Awards night. So just shows the power of the awards. And like I said, I'm looking forward to a great night on Saturday, and I'm looking forward into a bit of downtime on Sunday and a sleeping, all going well.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the podcast next week, we will, of course, be looking back at the awards, at all of the winners, and obviously the big winner of the West Cork Sports Star of the year as well. Now, elsewhere this weekend, Kieran, there is a Cork football game. They got their Division 2 campaign underway away to Donegal. You've been catching up with former Cork footballer and selector John Hayes ahead of what's a tough start to the league campaign for them.
Yeah, quite a tough start for Cork even on Sunday. Way to Donegal up in Ballybuffet, 1:45 p.m. throw-in, and there's deferred coverage on TG Car for anyone who wants to catch the game. Donegal were relegated from Division 1 last year, but if you go back to their first game in Division 1 in 2023, Donegal actually beat Kerry at home. So that just shows you the task that's facing Cork this weekend. And Jim McGuinness, of course, is back in the Donegal hot seat. So it's Donegal will be keen to lay out their stall and get their campaign off to a positive start at home in front of their home crowd. So Cork won't be favourites travelling up there on Sunday. So to get anything from that game would be a bonus. Obviously, you want Cork to win, if not a draw. Because if you're looking to the weekend after, Cork are away to Louth and RD. So it's 2 away games to kick off the league, and that's not ideal. Okay, if things go well in those first 2 games, it sets you up for the rest of the league. But if things don't go your way, all of a sudden you're playing catch up. You're trying to chase down the teams that have started well, because this Cork team, make no bones about it, they want promotion. John Cleary has hammered home that message over the last couple of years. When he was interim boss in 2022, Cork lost to Dublin. He said afterwards, we need to get to Division 1 to play these top teams regularly. He said the same thing last year after Cork lost to Derry, we need to get to Division 1. And talking to the Star before Christmas, and we printed it in early January, John Cleary had the same message. Cork's target is promotion to Division 1. So they're not hiding behind anything else. They've set out their stall. That's what Cork want. That's why these first 2 rounds are quite important, because Cork need to get points on the board. It's going to be tough this weekend, but like I said, get anything out of the game, I think that's a bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. And John Hayes is relatively positive about Cork's overall chances this year. Like we'll hear from him in a moment, but he does say that it's, I guess, after the last couple of years, Cork have been building, and maybe Division 2 is where Cork have belonged in previous years, but now it really is about getting promotion. And like you say, if those first 2 games go well, that gives them a lot of momentum. And do you think even the victory over Kerry in the McGrath Cup as well will kind of will have set them up to do well this weekend?
There was a good game last weekend just to get as many first teamers out as possible. It was a good, like the ideal challenge before you start the league, coming up against a good Kerry side. Okay, they didn't have a lot of their regulars there, but it was still quite a good Kerry team there, and it was at a good intensity. Cork had a lot of minutes into fellas, so I think in terms of the McGrath Cup, tick the box for Cork. 3 games, 3 wins, tried out a lot of players, and that's what John Cleary wants this year as well. He wants a deeper panel. He knows that Cork will have to look to the bench during the league and going into the championship. And when you look at the players who are out at the moment, Cathal Manny's going to miss the league. We haven't seen Brian Hurley yet because he was involved with Castlehaven. Stephen Sherlock's not back in yet. Thomas Clancy had a calf injury. John Powder missed the first 1 or 2 games of the league. So you're without a couple of fellas there who would be starting. So that means Cork have to look to their, I don't call them fringe players, but fellas who weren't starting last year and give them a chance. So I think the McGrath Cup, it was positive. but the real work starts now. Like I said, Cork need, if they can get over these first two games, you're looking at back-to-back games then against Cavan and Fermanagh, Cavan at home and Fermanagh away. So you're kind of, on paper, you would think those two games are more winnable. Because looking at Louth last year, Cork lost away to Louth in the league. So that's going to be a tricky tie coming up. But like you said, John Hayes is quite positive. And a lot of Cork football fans should be quite positive. And you'll hear myself and John now talk about a lot of the Cork players that we hope to see involved this year and step up. We didn't get to talk about all of them. We were chatting off the recording. Even the likes of Clonakilty's Maurice Shanley, like he had like John was making a point to be like he's come on leaps and bounds in the last couple of years, and he's become quite a central figure to Cork as well. So add in the likes of Maurice Shanley to the players that are there. We saw Rory Maguire come on the last day after his involvement with Castlehaven. So there's a strong Cork team there. Are they good enough to get to Division 1? Yeah, they are. 100%. They're good enough. We saw in the All-Ireland Championship last year, Cork beat Louth in the Championship, beat Mayo on the Gaelic grounds, and beat Roscommon at home. 3 good wins got Cork through to an All-Ireland quarter-final before Cork lost to Derry. So that's almost a platform, and Cork need to see progress this year. We can't have stagnation or another step back, because that just feels in we're caught in this limbo like Cork fans have been for the last couple of years. It's 9 years since Cork played in Division 1. It's about time Cork got back up there again. It's what this team and this group needs. They're primed to do it, but now I suppose the time for talking has stopped in a sense still, and they have to go out now and they have to get the results.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's hear from John Hayes now.
Cork kick off their league campaign on Sunday, John, away to Donegal. And listening to John Cleary over the last while, he's not hidden behind the fact that he says Cork's target has to be promotion to Division 1 of the Football League. Do you think this Cork team is in a place to get promoted to Division
1? Yeah, I do at this stage. I think I think there's been a building process over the last couple of years. And I think, to be fair to John Cleary, since he's come in, he really has progressed the work that was done by previous managers. Obviously with Keith Ricken wasn't able to kind of continue the commitment that time. But Keith had done his bit with the under-20s and the underage teams as well. But John Cleary taking over in the circumstances that he did, probably a long time after, I suppose a lot of people would have said he should have been in there. But he's in there, and with the last couple of years, I think we've kind of seen great progress with the footballers in the last couple of years. So I think well in the mix for promotion in Division 2 this year, and it would be great. I think I was firmly of the opinion that Division 2 was the right place for Cork with the last 3, 4, 5 years. That's the level we were at. But now the team is progressing, the panel is building, and the ability is there to go up to Division 1 and be competitive. I don't think we'd have been competitive 2 or 3 years ago, whereas now I think we're starting to build towards that. I'd be hopeful. It's not going to be easy, and obviously away to Donegal on Sunday is about as tough a start as they could get. But it'll give us a great marker of where we're at as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Cork do this year in Division 2.
I'm looking at the teams in Division 2 this year. We mentioned Donegal, Cork are away. They're Sunday, Ballybuffet. Then it's Louth, Cavan, Fermanagh, Kildare, Meath and Armagh. Who are the big dangers to Cork here?
Well, just Donegal. I'm actually trying to look up the fixtures here as well. So what's the programme again? Away to Donegal first.
Away to Donegal, then away to Louth. So it's 2 away games to start it before Cork. Then are home to Cavan, away to Fermanagh, home to Kildare, away to Meath, and then finish off with a home game against Armagh. So Cork have 4 games away from home, 2 are in Ulster, 2 are in Leinster. So you're travelling to Donegal and Fermanagh and Louth and Meath.
Yeah, Donegal they're probably the big gun and away from home with Jim McGuinness back. It's as tough as you get to kick things off. And we played Louth a few times in the last couple of years, and we've had our troubles with Louth. Losing losing on a couple of occasions to them as well. It'd be interesting to see how Loud set up now. With Mickey Hart gone as well. Will they continue with that kind of defensive approach and defensive structure, or will there be a change on that basis? I think after that, look, I think Kildare have been a good. Kildare are a little bit of an enigma, in that when they're on it, they can be really, really good. They played well. They pushed Dublin all the way. I think was it last year. They put them to the pin of their collar, and then bowed out tamely in the round robin stage as well. So, I think Kildare, look, on their day can cause trouble for anyone, but at home, I think we'd take them. We've had a good few games at Meath as well, but I think probably Donegal and Armagh are the two that we'll have to get a result against at least one of them. I think in order to progress into the top two and be in the mix for promotion as well. So there are some tricky games there as well. But I think it's Donegal and Armagh that are going to be the ones that we'll have to beat.
When you're looking at those first two fixtures, John, away to Donegal and away to Louth, what would represent a good return from Cork for those two away games?
Well, I think 4 points should be the target. It has to be the target. The Cork are in that space now where they have to be targeting wins. And as you said, this is a year that feels like it's big for Cork. It's really big for Cork. It's big for John Cleary. So they'll be targeting nothing less than 4 points. But even if they were to nick a point in Donegal and then win away to Louth and come away with 3 points, you'd be in a very good place at that stage. The minimum is 2. I think the minimum is 2. If you have anything less than that, you're on the back foot from the start. But if they can get any sort of result in Ballybuffet on Sunday, then we'd be in a great place to start. And it just kind of sets the tone as well for your league campaign. Your first couple of games are crucial and how they set out, because it's pretty quick in the league, in the sense that if you get good results early on the board, takes the pressure off in terms of looking down the table and looking over their shoulder. Cork shouldn't be in a position where we're worrying about relegation this year, but it's easy to get sucked into it if you don't get something against Donegal and then go the week after and against Louth and don't manage to put in a performance, and all of a sudden you're on 0 from 4. So I think minimum 2, but get a result, whether it's a win or a draw, and Donegal on top of that would be a great start for Cork, I think.
And the hope is that we do see Cork building the progress we made in last year's championship. You look at the win against Roscommon, beating Roscommon Park Equive, beating Mayo up in the Gaelic grounds, and beating Louth away in the All-Ireland series as well. There was back-to-back wins in the championship, taking down Division 1 teams like Mayo and Roscommon. So we did see progress before Cork bowed out to Derry. How can Cork build on that this year?
Well, promotion is number 1, and then we want a strong Munster campaign. You want a strong performance. Was it a semi-final away? Is it a semi-final away to Kerry this year? I know we're away to Kerry, but I'm not sure the fixtures whether it's a semi-final or final. We're expected to face Kerry, but whenever we do face Kerry, we need to be better.
If Cork beat Limerick in the quarter-final, John, it's a semi-final away to Kerry Fitzgerald Stadium on April 20th. So that's a daunting task in its own, considering Cork's record down there at the moment. Yeah,
it is. And you have to take that into account. It's so long since we won there, and it's such a difficult place to go and win a championship. I suppose it has been breached a little bit in a couple of times earlier in the season by other teams. Was it Mayo, I think, last year that did it. So, maybe that kind of chink gives other teams going to Killarney, including Cork, a little bit more hope, but it is a difficult one. Look, most people are going to back Kerry to win that game. And so Cork would be out in the semi-final, which on the face of it doesn't look like a great campaign. But if we win our first fixture against Limerick, and then if you can push Kerry all the way in Killarney, and it puts you going into the championship season, the rest of the championship season, I suppose, on a strong footing. We'd be delighted if we could finally get over that line below there. There's been a lot of close shaves in those in that 20 years, 19 years since we won in 95. A few games that we definitely left after us. But I mean, look, they got a target winning it. They got a target winning Munster. And then, but regardless of what happens in Munster, it's all about the run robin and getting into the knockout stages like we did last year. Obviously there were some good performances, like you said last year. Beating Mayo was great. Beating Roscommon was I think the second half of that game was a great game up in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and it was great to see a kind of a good championship game like that in Páirc Uí Chaoimh and come out the right side of it. And it gave the players a great fillip. But if we get to Croke Park again this year and you're into the quarterfinals and stuff, we maybe hope for a little bit of a better performance than we did there last year against Derry.
What we're starting to see too, and we saw through last year, is we're starting to become familiar with this Cork team. I think for too long, John, that there was so much chopping and changing that we didn't know which player was going to start, who was in, who was out. But let's say take midfield, for example. We know if the both lads are fit, it's going to be Colm O'Callaghan and Ian Maguire. Kind of what we're starting to see now is the spine of the team there, the likes of the Brian O'Driscolls, the Roy Deans, Brian Hurley when he's back in. I know Daniel O'Mahony came on the last day in the McGrath, Pope Matty Taylor. All these, there's like a core group of regulars, you could call them. So that consistency in team selection, that should help as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And even the kind of template that we've been playing the last few years, whether it's kind of three players kind of holding up high as much as possible. Where it's Brian Hurley. We went to the McGrath Cup game on Saturday, and Conor Corbett had a very good outing. I don't think he scored, but he won everything that came into him, and everything that went into him on a poor day. Everything that went into him pretty much stuck. And he found Cork players coming through on the run and that kind of thing. Conor Corbett can progress up another level. That's brilliant. Stephen Sherlock will be there. Hopefully Colm O'Mahony can come into it at some stage. So those kind of players, like there's other players then, like Mark Cronin, these guys who are knocking on the door as well. Fionn Hurley, all those guys. So we have forward options now that maybe we lacked a couple of years ago, and maybe a little bit more strength and depth than we had. So that's positive. So I mean, the template has kind of been 12 or 13 behind the ball and leaving 2 or 3 up. I know everyone gets behind the ball at times, but when Cork can do it, if they can keep someone up, whether it's Corbett, Brian Hurley, those guys, and they can be target mans for when you do target men. So Chris Oak-Jones obviously is another one who's starting to kind of come into his own at intercounty level. And it's great to see as well, So I think when he came through first and struggled once or twice, people said, that shows the difference between the grade he was playing at the time was at intermediate A and intercounty, and that he wasn't capable of making a step up, but he's showing that he is, and he's showing a good bit of cutting him as well. So a lot of forward options, I think. Like if we can develop a half forward line with a bit more physicality. I think Brian O'Driscoll came back into it last year and added a little bit of physicality to that half forward line that we need. Maybe if Cillian O'Halloran gets fit again, he can play there. I think you're right about Ian and Colm. They're working very well together. I think, to be fair, Colm's another player who probably was criticised a little bit early in his Cork senior career, in the sense that people thought maybe he's a big boy and he can run, but can he really play? But he can play, and he can finish and he can score. So I'd be excited to see what those do, and especially I think it takes a bit of the pressure off Ian at this stage as well. Ian has given whatever it is a decade or so of service to Cork, really doing hard work, really doing hard running, up and down the pitch like a box to box midfielder, tackling, harrying, carrying, getting forward. You can't expect that out of him too much, but I think with Colm there and the pace and power that he has, it takes that kind of pressure off him a little bit, especially in the forward side of things. So I do still think we need to get more. We need more ball winning ability around the middle to supplement those two guys. They're good in the air, but there's bigger men. They're not the tallest midfielder in the world, so some other midfielders can put pressure on us, and Kerry have done in the past as well at times. So if we can develop Cillian O'Halloran, as I said, at 12, another kick out option, Brian O'Driscoll and these guys and whoever else is involved, that's going to be crucial for Cork, because at times when other teams have pressed us, we've struggled to get away. I know Cork, they've worked strongly on the overload kick out, going pretty much overloading one side with the midfielders, half forwards, half backs, and then putting it in there and making a dogfight. But we still have to get a little bit better at it, and we have to get a little bit better at getting another option away. It's fine to have that overload, but there should be other options then, whether it's a short one or whether it's a kick out to someone on the run on the opposite side. We need to develop that a little bit more. But there has been positive setups, and you're right about the makeup of the team. The back line, okay, looks like Micheál has done very well as well. Obviously, maybe sometimes question marks about his kick out as well, but by and large he's been very consistent, made some brilliant saves, has worked on improving his kick out as well. So I think we've Pat Doyle is it now from Knocknagree, pushing him on, played quite well. Quite well. There was a little bit of a mixed bag for him in the McGrath Cup, but did okay. And then in front of him, whether you've Daniel O'Mahony, Sean Meehan, I think you're right about Matty Taylor. To be fair, we were only saying it during the game on Saturday against Kerry that he's just turning into a bit of he's a model of consistency for Cork at left half back. Rory Maguire had a great year last year. There's other guys then, Sean Powter. Where does Sean Powter fit into it? Does he take the centre forward role again, or do you kind of put him back into the defensive system at wing back or something like that? So we have a lot of options. There's players there that I haven't mentioned, like whether it's John O'Rourke or Kevin Flahive or all those guys. So, there's a bit more strength and a bit more depth in the Cork panel that we've had for a while. So hopefully it's all positive, but they just have to go out now and deliver as well.
You mentioned some of the young fellas coming through, the likes of the Conor Corbetts and Chris O'Jones. Which Cork footballer excites you the most? That kind of almost get you up off your seat, or you're excited about their potential and like, okay, this is a fella we can hang a bit of hope off in the years to come.
I'd be kind of half reluctant to kind of say something like that, because I've obviously been in there with all those guys, and I worked with them a couple of years ago, and who knows down the line maybe I'll work with them again. But I think I have great time for what Cathal O'Mahony's ability, and I just really hope that he gets a little bit of luck on the injury front over the next year or two, and then just gets an opportunity to consistently show what he does and what he can do, and that's great. You just want to see a fella who given the chance to do that. And look, and I reiterate what I said about Conor Corbett there a while ago as well. I was really impressed with him at the weekend. I thought it was a very kind of selfless display as a full forward. He just literally made the hard run to win the ball and won it, and found the Cork player with the ball in afterwards as well. So maybe in the better weather, the opportunities will open up for him a bit more as well. So yeah, I think those two guys, if they can stay fit and push on, then things will be all right inside in the full forward line for Cork.
As a forward yourself, how refreshing is it to see, like you mentioned, Cathal O'Mahony, Conor Corbett, Chris O'Jones, Mark Cronin, these youngish players? Some of them are young, some of them aren't so young, but to see them kind of step up, because in fairness to Brian Hurley, he's turning 32, I think, in April. Like, he's given some service to Cork for the last 10, 11, 12 years, but he can't do it on his own. So it's so important that we have this fresh, this new next generation of players, what I'm trying to say, John, to kind of come on board and take some of the pressure off Brian Hurley, but also give Cork more scoring power as well and more scoring options.
Yeah, like with a full deck, you just mentioned it there. So you have Brian Hurley, you have Stephen Sherlock, Cathal, Conor Corbett, Chris Ogue. I mean, what that means then is, as an opposition, you can't focus in on one or two guys, and automatically, things will open up for someone. If someone else is double marked, there's room for someone else. So that gives you huge options, and it gives you, obviously, if there's injuries, it gives you opportunities. Maybe gives management an idea that we can rotate them or find a new role for someone. In terms of modern game with back defenses, do you pull someone back and try and use their kicking ability, or something to that effect? So yeah, look, I think it's great. I'd be really hopeful. Like I said, if those guys can stay fit, Brian's fitness is another thing. It's, look, he's you touched on it there. Like he's given great service to Cork, and he's always turned up and always made himself available, and the rest of it. But he has taken a beating as well. With his body, with the hamstring injuries, and I think his shoulder and this kind of thing as well. So, you can't expect him to be there 100% of the time. But if he can, if he can give and be fit and stay involved, whether it's from the start or coming on, he'll give a lot of defences a lot to think about. But yeah, you're dead right. He can't do it on his own, but it looks like he has the kind of backup and support now that maybe wasn't there a couple of years ago, I don't think.
I forgot to mention Sherlock, but you picked him up. Owen Sweeney, he's another fella who's been thereabouts for the last couple of years. So it just shows that Cork do have the options. So looking at the season as a whole, what do you think, so John, will constitute progress? I know I said it earlier, progress for Cork. Is it if Cork are promotion to Division 1, is everything gets a bonus after that then? Should that really be the priority for this Cork football team to get up to Division 1 for next year and then to get those regular competitive games? Because I was looking at who's in Division 1 this year, John, and who you have. You Ulster champions Derry, All-Ireland winners Dublin, Connacht champions Galway, Munster champions Kerry, then you've Mayo, Monaghan, Roscommon and Tyrone. And 6 of those teams were quarterfinalists in the All-Ireland series last year. So it does show the importance of being a Division 1 team, because they're used to playing the big games. They're seasoned campaigners against each other. So that's the level that Cork want to get. So should that just be the priority? Get up to Division 1 this year, and everything else is a bonus.
It's the short-term priority, Kieran. But you break the season into 2 halves. It's the league season and it's the championship season. So no matter what you achieve in the league season, if you go on and win the whole thing and get promoted, you park it. You park it pretty much straight away. It is a big priority and it's a huge priority, but no, I wouldn't say that you could just kind of write off the rest of the year as immaterial if we are successful in the league. It's vital then to back that up with a strong championship as well. I think progress would be a semi-final. Ultimately, success means winning trophies. That means winning a Munster Championship, which would mean winning down in Killarney. Winning an All-Ireland, I know it sounds ridiculous and the rest of it, but ultimately that's what success is, winning a trophy in any competition. But if we're looking for progress, it would be targeting getting back to an All-Ireland semi-final and being in those big games in Croke Park again. So I think it's realistic. It's not going to be easy. It's a big challenge. We got to the quarterfinal last year and Derry were a bit better than us. It wasn't a great game, it was a poor game. But Cork threw that away in a way straight after scoring the goal to concede the goal at the other end. So get up to Croke Park, get into a quarter final, give a better performance, and hope to get into a semi final. And I think that would be that'd be a great year for Cork then.
Good stuff, John. And the first step of that journey starts this Sunday in Ballyforbee. Thanks for chatting to us.
No problem. Thanks.
The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
Welcome back to the Star Sport podcast. And Kieran, it's that time of the week where we take a look ahead to what's in this week's Southern Star. It's out on Thursday morning, and what can people look forward to? Yeah,
there's loads in there, absolutely packed this week. So we have an interview with David Hart, the Ballinspittle man, who was he's the Ireland men's hockey goalkeeper, and the Irish men's hockey team qualified for the Olympics last weekend. So that's going to boost the local connection to the big summer sports show in Paris. As well as that, I have an interview with Gavin Coombs, Skibbereen's Munster rugby star, who missed out on being named in Ireland's panel for the Six Nations. So Gavin's chatting about what he needs to do to get back into the Ireland setup and how desperate he is to take his chance when he gets his chance next. So that's well worth to read. Sean Holland was in Banteer on Tuesday for Clonakilty Community College. They lost their Curryvary quarter-final to the Sim from Killarney. So there's a report and reaction from that. The Cork ladies kicked off their league campaign last weekend with a good win against Galway. But how this game went ahead last Sunday in Bishopstown, I'll never know. David Ribeiro, the photographer, put up a video on X of the goalposts. Because this was in the middle of Storm Isha, like it was just all you could see was the post wave, and like it was incredibly harsh conditions to play a football game, but Cork got the job done. Katie Quirk got all 1-6. So good start for Cork, and they're home to Armagh on Sunday at 1 p.m. So we have a preview of that game. The Musgrave GA Awards were on the weekend, so we've pictures and news from that. We also have a bit of a look at the West Cork Olympians, just on the back of David Hart and the Irish hockey team qualifying. I just have an update of where we are. On this Thursday, it's 183 days out from the start of the game. So, but that sounds like a lot. That time won't be long going. So it's just letting our readers and listeners know which West Cork athletes have already qualified and who's looking to qualify. So it's updates on the likes of Dara McElhinney, Phil Healy, Joan Healy, Emily Hegarty, Jake McCarthy, athletes like this who want to get to Paris. So that's well worth checking out. The Rebel Wheelers won 5th Irish basketball title in a row last weekend. JJ Hurley has news from that. We also have a long read on the West Cork Sports Star Hall of Fame award winner. So our listeners will have to check out Thursday Southern Star to see that person's identity. So yeah, there's loads in there and to sink your teeth into on Thursday morning.
Yeah, loads in there, absolutely. And elsewhere, outside of sport, Kieran, there's a 28-page supplement celebrating the West Cork Business and Tourism Awards, because it's award season in West Cork. Those awards are on Friday week, on the 2nd of February in the West Cork Hotel. We are profiling all of the finalists who are in the running for the overall West Cork Business of the Year. We're also revealing the West Cork Business Ambassador of the Year as well. So if anybody wants to find out the identity of that person, they'll have to pick up a copy of the Southern Star as well. And aside from that, Kieran, there's also a New Year, New Job special feature in this week's newspaper. So we have over 35 jobs in this week's newspaper in that special feature. So if you're looking for a job, it's a great place to look as well. Now, as always, if you are further afield or you can't make it to the shops, you can subscribe to the Southern Star and get it on your laptop, tablet, or phone. Just go to subscribe.southernstar.ie, enter your details, and you'll get an exact replica of the newspaper for less than €2 per week, alongside full access to our website as well. As always, thanks for listening to the Star Sport podcast, and thanks again to our sponsors at Access Credit Union. If you've enjoyed this, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll be back again celebrating the West Cork Sports Star Awards next week. Thanks for listening.